There's something strange in the air, a feeling of unease that even Steve Rogers, known for his stoicism, can't quite shake. Maybe it's the subtle shifting in the shadows of Avengers Tower. Maybe it's the sense that, lately, his skin doesn't feel quite right, or that his thoughts are not entirely his own. But let's back up. You know Captain America, the Sentinel of Liberty, the one person you'd trust to stand between you and the end of the world. He is, in many ways, incorruptible. But what if something truly alien slipped through the cracks? Not just any threat, but a living weapon, the alien symbiote, known for amplifying aggression, feeding off chaos, and twisting even the noblest souls. To symbiote after being separated from another host, in a skirmish that left the Fantastic Four scrambling, found itself alone and hungry. It crept through the vents, a slick, inky shadow searching for a new bond. And late one night, as Steve sat alone, still in uniform after a mission, the symbiote made its move. Steve felt a jolt, nothing more than a cold shiver at first. His fingers wrapped tighter around his shield without conscious effort. When he estowed, it felt like he wore armor beneath his skin. At first, his teammates didn't notice. Steve was more direct, more focused, more determined. He trained longer, fought harder. His punches cracked the reinforced training dummies. He brooded in corners, eyes lost in shadow, voice dropping to a venomous whisper. Tony Stark was the first to pick up on it. "You look like you haven't slept in days. Cap, wanna talk about it?" Steve's new smile was thin and sharp. Never felt better. As days passed, the symbiote seeped deeper into Steve's mind. It loved his sense of discipline and focus, but found his moral code inconvenient. It whispered to him, "They don't understand. They hold you back. Unleash what you could be." Nightly, Steve would find himself on the rooftops of New York, leaping impossibly far, his senses sharper than ever, letting the symbiote's power course through him. It was intoxicating, a freedom even the super soldier serum had never provided. But it came at a cost. In missions, Steve was reckless. He pursued threats with brutal efficiency. Criminals who once cowered at sight of the shield now lived in terror of the black-suited. Feral Avenger, who stopped pulling his punches when one of Kingpin's lieutenants landed in the hospital after a mission, hospitalized by injuries that would not heal. Natasha Romanoff confronted him. "Steve, this isn't you. You need help." He slammed his fists against the wall with a strength that dented steel. "You don't know what it's like. There's a war in my head, and I'm winning it." But the truth was, Steve was losing. With each day, his ideals were warped. The line between justice and vengeance blurred. The symbiote twisted the shields, colors its, once bright reds, whites, and blues, swallowed by living oil. Star replaced by a writhing black emblem. The Avengers knew a confrontation was inevitable. Tony, Natasha, and Thor devised a plan. Isolate him, separate the symbiote, and bring Steve back. But he was ready. Forewarned by the symbiote's psychic whispers, he turned the tower into a fortress the moment they tried. The ensuing battle was fierce. Black tendrils lashed out, and Steve moved like a shadow, faster, more ruthless than ever before. Thor's hammer crashed against his shield with enough force to shatter windows across the city. Natasha dodged a whip of oily darkness. Tony's repulsors fizzled against the symbiote's writhing mass. But in a moment between blows, Steve caught sight of himself reflected in the mirrored glass, no longer the man he was. A memory flickered his own words to Bucky Barnes. "Years ago, we done trade lives." And yet, he was trading everything, right now, for power he didn't want. Fighting the symbiote's control with raw will, Steve called out to his friends. "Don't let me win. You have to stop me." It took all their strength, ingenuity, and Tony's desperation, a sonic pulse emitted through every speaker in the tower, to finally wrench the symbiote free. Black slime oozed from Steve, shrieking in silent agony as it slithered away, leaving Steve crumpled and gasping, battered in mind and body. Steve was changed, shaken, ashamed of how quickly something inside him had shifted under the symbiote's influence. The team rallied around him. But the shadow remained an eternal reminder of how even the strongest can be undermined if the wrong darkness takes hold. In the end, the shield is repainted, the colors restored. But for Steve Rogers, the memory of the black symbiote haunts each mission. He remains vigilant, aware that the cost of power unchecked is often paid one soul at a time, and somewhere, in the city's depths, the symbiote waits, searching for its next perfect host.